What is up, everybody? It's the Mailman, Jimmy Milstead, and it's the Small Package, episode 20, and we're talking round two, National Hockey League Stanley Cup Playoffs. Round one is in the books, and tonight we've got our buddies, the Colonel Nick Reedy and Storky, Kevin Stork, up there in Canada, Leafs Nation. Let's go to Storky first. First of all, congrats, Stork. Your son got married, a week ago Wednesday?
Yep.
And that's probably the most important thing. So congratulations to you and your family. But Stork, your Toronto Maple Leafs finally get over the hump, get into round two after 19 years. Stork, how you feeling? You got to be feeling good, buddy. I know you were under the weather.
Yeah, but the Leaf victory made me feel better. I felt like I won the Stanley Cup already. Getting into the second round, it was like a cup win. Yeah, I mean they're up against it again with Florida because that team is for real and they're on a roll and they're feeling pretty good about themselves. So it's going to be a long, drawn-out series, I think, against Florida.
So yeah, I wonder if you were, what did you do the night the Leafs won in overtime off the John Tavares connection there past Vassy? Did you go climbing up street poles?
No, I missed the street poles, but I probably could have. If I think I mentioned this to maybe you guys. I don't know, but when Tavares scored that goal, I'm looking on the TV, and I don't think it registered with me right away because the puck was going in slow motion, right? So I'm looking at it and I'm seeing the puck trickle over the goal line, and I'm kind of saying to myself, did that just go in? And then I seen everybody going crazy, and then I realized that the Leafs had won. It was like I said, it was all like it was like Matrix or something. And yeah, I was pretty excited after I realized that they won the game. I was beside myself. I think I startled my wife in the next room because I let out a yelp, and she knew right away what was going on because it didn't sound like oh shit or any other four-letter words I can come up with. But yeah, I was pretty excited. It's been a long time coming, 2004, and a lot of people are mentioning why do the Leafs fans celebrating like that? You got to remember, some of these guys that were celebrating out there, they're mostly young kids. In 2004, some of them weren't even born yet, and some of them were really young. So it was like a wonderful moment for these young fans who haven't got to see the Leafs in the second round. So yeah, that's the reason why Leaf Nation went crazy. A, because we had to wait till 2004, and B is because a lot of the fans have never experienced it before. So yeah, that's I'm pretty happy for the Leafs and Leaf Nation, and we hope to keep it going.
All right, that's the other opposite side of the spectrum. First round, we go to Nick Reedy, Minnesota Wild. Unfortunately, succumbed to the former Minnesota North Stars, the Dallas Stars, in 6 games. Nick, how you doing?
What? Where are we? What are we even doing today?
We're talking about the 76ers, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we want to talk about basketball, soccer. What's going on? No. First of all, it's hard enough to win a series against a team that made the playoffs, and I tip my cap to Dallas for sticking with it. But it's even harder when you're playing against the refs the entire time. And what I mean by that is a lot of people think there were some calls that shouldn't have been called, some roughing that should have been happened, but that wasn't it. Is in game 3 when Marcus Foligno got the game misconduct and got booted out after what was it, like a minute and 10 seconds, into the game, it completely changed the way we played hockey. It changed our physicality. It made us second guess our hits. It made us do everything. So it's tough. I tip my cap to Dallas. They have a really good young team, and they're going to be good for quite a while. But I still think my Wild were the better team. They just, in the end, couldn't pull it through. And my hat's off to what I said in the beginning of the prediction show that we had was Heiskanen scared me, and he did exactly what I thought he was going to do, and he shut Kaprizov down. Other than game one. So, I mean, it was a good series. They had a really good game plan for our young guys. But again, we have a young team, and we've already started making moves for the next season. We signed Mojo for a 3-year contract, so he's coming back indefinitely. So we've got a lot to look up to. But I'm not going to lie, it hurt. That hurt watching them go down 4-1 and at home.
So Nick, I didn't catch any of the exit interviews in Minnesota. How bad was the Thrill injured? Was there any? I know there was a big, like you said, Floyd missing. Eriksson Ek just never got a chance to play.
Well,
losing Krill. I mean, Krill just didn't seem himself. He had to have been hurt, right?
No, we'll get into some more specifics, and we can actually do it now. But Suter cracked one of his ribs when he was back checking him in the crease. And he was still, dealing with some of that lower body injury he had from the season. So thank God Suter sold his house in Edina. He's no longer in Minnesota, and get the hell out of here. Sold it as of
breaking
today.
News.
He's not sticking around. Thankfully, I was a huge Suter fan. I like the guy. I think he plays good hockey, but we can talk about the dumble hit on Pavelski. Suter basically mauled Kaprizov every single game, and nothing got called. Foligno misses a check, hits the boards and falls down and gets called for tripping. There was just some very questionable things there. Another little tidbit found out today, Eriksson Ek actually played game 3, came out with in the 19 seconds. He played with a broken fibula. So after that game, he went and had surgery to get that fixed up. So hats off to him for even trying.
Yeah.
But he was a huge miss. He was a huge loss. I mean, that was our power play kill. That was our, big guy in the middle that can push people around. And you wouldn't see Suter doing that to Ek. But hey, it is what it is. You have to keep playing, next man up. And I think that we did pretty good. Fleury also announced that he is no longer going to go as a starting goalie. He's going to come back as the backup. So that's kind of good. Give Jesper Wallstead down in Iowa a chance to get some time in Gustafsson. So I think we're pretty good in goal. But it hurt. I mean, it sucks. Another great tidbit about Minnesota. The last time that we went to a finals game, not won, but went to a final game, was 1991 with the Minnesota Twins. Between MLB, NHL, NFL, and I don't remember what the other one is. The top five leagues. We have been to 50 playoffs and not made a final. The next closest state that has the 4 big teams isn't even at 30. So it's tough being a Minnesota fan, whether it be hockey or football or baseball. But we do have to put a little caveat in there. Our WNBA team was pretty much powerhouse for about 5 years in a row and won the championship.
That's what I was going to ask. What about WNBA?
Yeah, they played great. Now they're not doing so great. But anyway, I don't want to take more time. But it hurts. A little bit of heartbreak. Raise my beer to my boys and say, hey, we'll see you next year. And Dallas. God, Pavelski. That dude is a man. Unbelievable. 4 goals and you lose, but we'll get into that later. But thanks for the little soapbox, Jimmy. And hey, it still hurts, but we'll get around there. Now we can watch pretend hockey until the cup.
Yeah. Well, no matter what, me and Nick were on last week's Stork. We talked about how maybe this might have been, it's up there as far as at least my viewing of first round Stanley Cup action. I was not board at all. There might have been a couple of dud games here and there. But, guys, in the first round, we ended up having, if my math is correct, 15 overtime games. And most of the road teams have been just kicking butt. And, we're not going to review everything because it's all said and done. But let's talk about those Boston Bruins, man. One of those overtime victories came at a night where I was at a Seattle Thunderbirds Western Conference Finals games. But I saw some highlights. Carter Verhaeghe, Florida Panthers, now playing Stork's Leafs. They slay the beast, the Boston Bruins, the record-setting regular season team. I'll go to Stork first because I know he is loving it. What did you think of that Carter Verhaeghe tuck in overtime? And it was a crazy, wacky game from what I was looking at on my phone. Did you think Boston was going to hang on to it, Stork? And did you see Florida just you were the closest in prediction of this series, by the way, as you had Boston in 7. They ended up losing in 7. Me and Nick, we had, I believe Nick had a sweep for Boston. That's what I have written down. And I had a gentleman's sweep. I had the Florida Panthers getting one game in Florida. They ended up making me look like an idiot. Stork, you were real close. You had Boston winning. What were your reactions when Florida slays the beast?
Well, I mean, Florida showed in Game 5 that they were quite capable of coming back. And when they won that game in Game 5, I started thinking, you know what? This team could get back in this series. And going back to Florida and winning Game 6, I thought, okay, this is going to be huge. A big Game 7, nothing like it. Thinking, well, they're going back to Boston. And I was thinking when Boston went up 3-2, I was thinking, oh, damn, I guess we're playing Boston. And then, of course, the miracle goal late in the third tied it up. And right away, my thought was, oh, my God, Florida's going to beat these guys. They're destined to beat these guys. And sure enough, it didn't take too long in the overtime. And bingo, they won the game. I think I already had Florida winning that game when they went to overtime. I just thought something went over me. I thought they're going to win this game. When they tied it up, the first thing I thought of, they're going to win this game. And sure enough, they did. And what better team to beat than the Boston Bruins? I mean, I've probably said this before, but I find Boston fans annoying and arrogant. And to see them in the stadium, all with a look of shock on their face, it made me feel good. And watching Florida celebrating right in front of them, it was a wonderful feeling. So I kind of like Florida. It's too bad they can't draw flies for a good team that they've had over the last few years. But and then they kind of disappoint me with that announcement that they were trying to do going into round 2, that they were going to stop ticket sales to Canadians just to keep the Leafs out of there, because they were thinking, every time Toronto goes down to Florida, half of the fans are Leaf fans, are wearing Leaf jerseys. And I guess they couldn't stomach that in the playoffs. But I think they had to ease off on the restrictions because,
we're talking Florida. We're talking Florida, Stork. They're not going to be able to keep out Canadians down there. Trust me.
Exactly, right? How would they like it if when they came to Toronto, we said, oh, you're wearing a Florida jersey, you can't come in. I mean, come on. That's, they should be promoting the game for a team that has such a good team. And they can draw take a look at some of their games during the regular season.
Yeah.
You can hear people coughing. It's that's not how to promote the game. And they should be promoting it down there. And if they got fans filled with
I'm sure.
Habs jerseys or Leaf jerseys or wherever, they should like that.
Well, they're got a lot of the bandwagon guys, and you're gonna see Toronto Maple Leafs fans down there. Trust me, I know it. Nick, what were your thoughts on the Boston series? Was this the last time we've seen Patrice Bergeron play? It sure looked like it there as he had an emotional hug with Brad Marchand. Obviously, dejected Boston Bruins teams. Hey, there's not a lot to say here. There was a lot of guys that were no shows in this series as far as the Bruins, and it sounds like Linus Ullmark was playing injured. I just think they went to the Swayman switch way too late. But Nick, your thoughts on that Boston takedown?
Hey, President's Curse.
Yeah.
President's Curse. Someone with a certain hat named the Mailman knows all about that.
Oh, 3 of them.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I think Florida played lights out. I think Florida played exactly how they wanted to. I think Boston got overconfident when they got ahead. That's their mentality as a team, though, is they're just all a bunch of cocky bastards. And I think that's part of the curse, is that they go into the playoffs thinking, hey, we scored the most points, we broke history, we did this, and they forget what brought them there and the fundamentals. But I think Bergeron may be done, but we'll see. It's hockey's a weird sport when it comes to that.
I think he ended up. I think his injury was some sort of elbow injury, if I'm not mistaken, right, Stork?
They said it was an upper body, so.
Yeah, I want to say it was elbow, but I could be wrong. But he didn't get into the series till later, but he only did contribute with a goal. I mean, it was a big goal. But their main guys were Tyler Bertuzzi and Brad Marchand, 10 points in the series. Taylor Hall had a great series. He had 8 points. They're not going to be able to afford a guy like Dmitry Orlov next year. There's going to be some changes in Boston, guys. Is Krejci done as well? The Pavel Zacha trade for Hala is looking pretty good for Jersey right now. I mean, he did have 6 apples, but he was not that much of a factor. And let's talk about the Boston D real quick. Hampus Lindholm, Charlie McAvoy, they seem like no-shows to me. Do you guys have any comments on the Bruins defense there?
No, I think I just think Florida's offense was just too much. Yeah. I mean, down the stretch, if you watch even from the beginning of the series, Florida was in the offensive zone a lot, and it put a lot of pressure on the D. And then, as we all know, these long series of games take a long time, especially with someone going to overtime. And your D-men, if they're not, swapping out and switching out fast enough, or if you're not carrying 7D and you're only carrying 5 or 6, and you're swapping them in and out, that's a lot to put on them, especially with a team that has that good strong front. So I think that was more about it. But in the end, I agree with Storky. I think it's a Boston attitude. They came in thinking that they were the best and that it was going to be easy to ride over a couple teams, and they got shown real quick that hockey is one of those sports where even the number 6, 7 team are just as good as the number 1 team. It doesn't matter about record. So, yeah.
Well, before we put this, go ahead, Stark. I'm sorry.
It's a complete reset when you start the playoffs. It doesn't matter what your record is during the season, but like Nick was saying, Florida pressed and pressed and pressed. They finished their checks. They beat down the Boston defense because every time the defense had the puck, they were getting hit. They were getting forechecked. They were getting swamped. They were lots of 2-on-1s against the Boston D. They were pressuring them to push the puck when they didn't really want to. Boston, after going up 3-1, I think they took their foot off the pedal, thinking, "Oh, we're just going to relax. We're going to win this now. We got it all won." And Florida had nothing to do with that. They played well. Though especially the last 3 games, they totally deserve what they got. But this team forechecks. That's what they do. They forecheck. And they wore down the Boston defense. That was the difference late in the series.
Yeah, I don't remember what you played in high school, Jimmy. Did you play wing?
Oh, I mostly was a center because I like playing a 200-foot game. I was pretty good at it, guys.
But you know what? Do you remember your coach yelling pinch, 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 pinch?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least they did up here. That's what the forecheck is. Pinch in, pinch in, pinch in. And I think that, part of it going back to the Minnesota game is we didn't do that either. Is we just pushed the puck in the zone instead of carrying it over. It was just
Yeah.
So.
Well, before we leave this series real quick, I just want to give my shout-outs to Matty Tkachuk. This guy, I think if it wasn't for Connor McDavid, this guy would be the Hart Trophy. He willed this team. 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points. He's been unbelievable. And then the defenseman, Brandon Montour. Me and Nick talked about him last week. 8 points. He's got a hell of a shot. He can hit. Carter Verhaeghe always seems to show up. Alexander Barkov started to show up at the end of the series. That could be scary for Stork's Leafs. And a shout-out to the hitting machine, Radko Gudas. This guy, I think that's what Boston lacked, a shot-blocking machine, a guy that would just hit anybody in sight. Radko Gudas was unbelievable. I know I'm leaving off a couple of guys. Sam Bennett, he'll take a dumb penalty here and there, but and Sergei Bobrovsky, I'll tip my cap. I rag this guy a lot. He makes a lot of sheets. He took over for Lyon. I believe he started yesterday, right, Stork? Yeah, he started the series against the Leafs. And my hat's off to Bobrovsky. He was better than Boston there at the end, and hats off to the Cats. They shocked the world. And guys, I'm getting word that we might have a fourth guest on here in a little bit. I'll save it as a surprise. But what series do you want to talk about next, real quick, guys? I'm not sure how much time you guys have, but I'm going to be here as long as you guys want to be. Let's go to the Devils and Rangers, right? That was an exciting series.
Yeah, and I think that was a pretty big upset for me too, because I had the Rags winning that series, and the Devils just kind of took that series over and won. So, yeah, we can go to that series.
Yeah, Storky got that one right as well. Jersey in 7. Or actually, he had the Boston wrong, but it did go 7. But Storky had New Jersey in 7. Jimmy got the Jersey part right. I had it in 6. I was a little bit more confident. I thought it was going to happen, but the Rags, that was another game. There was 2 T-Bird games I was at this weekend. I missed that Game 6 Rangers win that brought it to a Game 7 Monday night. And Nick, unfortunately, like he said, Rangers in 6. I just don't think it sounds like Patty Kane had a lower body injury ever since he was traded to these guys, even before the playoffs started. Who wants to start this one off? Your thoughts first on the Rangers' big disappointment. Devils were still the favorite, or the home team, but a lot of people, not only Nick was wrong, there's a lot of people that had the Rangers. Stork, you want to talk about that series first?
You know, I'm a fan of a couple of the Devils players. Hughes and Brad are a couple of favorites of mine, and I had no doubt. I thought New Jersey would beat the Rangers. I thought it would be a long series. And it just goes to show you that you can put all these superstars on one team. Doesn't mean you're going to win. And the Rangers are full of them. But there's only enough room on the ice for a limited amount of pompous, arrogant players that are me players, which the Rangers have. I'm sorry. I mean, they're great. You know, they're really good players and everything. I'm not saying that. But you can't put them all on the ice for the whole game. And New Jersey had a system. I don't think the Rangers were ready for New Jersey. Yeah, they started off really well against them, but Jersey started getting their legs, and they started seeing what the Rangers were trying to do, and they put a stop to it, which is why they took over that series, is because they made the necessary adjustments to beat the Rangers. And the last couple of games, I mean, they dominated them, really.
Yeah, before I go to Nick, the scores of that Game 1, if you recall, Rangers dominated 5-1. Then they win again 5-1 in the at the Rock Prudential Center. Then we come back to MSG. It seemed like a road team series, as it was. The Devils take a big 2-1 overtime. They had the goalie switch. Vanacek out. Akira Schmid put in. This kid is cooler than the other side of the pillow, guys. A big guy, too. And me and Nick talked a little bit about him last podcast. So that got them going. And then they got a big 3-1 win at the Garden before taking it back to Jersey, where they shut out Shesterkin and the boys 4-0. And then they had that game 6 where I didn't get to see this game, but the Rangers did win that 5-2. And then in game 7 on Monday night, guys, the Devils own the Rangers. Rangers kind of go out in a whimper, 4-0. What about number 1 pick, Alexis Lafreniere? This guy, absolute bagels. Yeah. Stork's like, who?
Is he playing? I thought he was out.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Well, it wasn't just him. I mean, the only guy that I even remember being announced throughout the series was Zibanejad. Where was Tarasenko?
Yeah.
And where were these big name players? And I think that is what just took it out. And I think Storky said it the best: is New Jersey played a system, New York tried to play players, and you'll never win that way.
Chris Kreider had some points, but he was kind of a minus player, as was pretty much everybody. Ryan Lindgren was a positive, but just a solid defenseman. Adam Fox had 8 apples. Patty Kane had 6 points in a series. It just didn't seem like he was himself. And like you said, Nick, Vlad Tarasenko seemed like he was noticeable early in those first 2 games, but nothing in the late part of the series. They needed the kid line to step up. Philip Hedl, Vinny Trocheck did a little bit here and there, but I just didn't see enough from them. The speed definitely killed for the Devils. Shesterkin did everything he could. He was even trying to get them jump started in that one game, trying to fire a puck down on the opposing goaltender. His save percentage was good the whole series, .931, but he just couldn't outduel that kid, Akira Schmid, who's just been unbelievable, a .951 save percentage. It's pretty sick. To be honest, the Devils kind of spread their wealth around. They weren't actually lighting it up on the score sheet. A guy named Eric Holla, the guy in that Pavel Zacha trade, former Bruin, he had the leading scorers for these guys, 6 points.
Former
Hughes
Wild.
did what he, yeah. Seems like Holla's been all over the league, but Jack Hughes did his part. He had 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points. And Andre Palat, man, that's why they got him at the deadline. No, they brought him in as a free agent, right?
Yeah.
That guy scores big goals in the playoffs, and he's worth every bit. But we have a surprise guest right now, guys. It's the PipeLayer, Tim Kelly, your representative of the Seattle Kraken. Welcome, Tim, to the show here on the Small Package, episode 20, here on this Wednesday, May the 3rd, right? I lost track of time.
Hey,
yeah.
welcome to the NBA talk show.
NBA, okay.
Yeah, we're talking about NBA and the football draft. I guess they had a big thing last Thursday. So,
well, we lost our NBA team 15 years ago, so I'm right in the right spot.
Pipe, just like the Shockmaster on our wrestling shows, makes a gracious appearance. We're going to talk about the Kraken next since you showed up, but any comments on the Rangers-Devils series? We're wrapping up. What were your thoughts? It seemed like the Rangers had a bunch of no-shows. I know you probably were not invested in this series as much as having the Kraken in, but are you glad to see the Rangers gone?
Well, I think so no. And I kind of have a soft spot for Patrick Kane, which I know is terrible to say. But, no, not much. I mean, good riddance. There's only one team that matters that's left, and that's your Toronto Maple Leafs, right, Stork?
That's right, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, I'm rooting for Seattle now, too. So, I mean, they've been Cinderella all through this playoffs. And, I mean, that shocker against Colorado, which we're going to talk about next, I think. What can you say, man? They went and beat the defending champions, and they outplayed them through the whole series. They deserve what they got. So go Kraken.
Real quick, let me go to that series real quick. Well, before I do that, internet's taking forever here. Tim, you went to 2 games in that series. Describe your experiences, buddy. How was the game day experience? Is Seattle an official hockey town?
Well, I think it is now. Like you said, as we all know, you go to a lot of WHL games, and I've been to a bunch in the surrounding communities. But yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I went to Game 3 and Game 6, which they obviously both lost those 2 games. But hey, they're a road team, right? They're a road team.
Yeah.
No, I mean, crowd was in there. They were loud. I mean, Game 6, right? Well, I wanted to be at Game 3 because the first ever home playoff game, right? And so it's awesome. And then Game 6, I mean, every time Carr touched the puck, the crowd was booing. It was awesome. And I mean, yeah, the people were into it. Strangely, 2 seats in front of me that never got filled for the Game 6, which I was kind of crazy. But they showed the local Seattle celebrities, all the athletes, the football, the Seattle Seahawks players, former Supersonics, like Detlef Shrimp. Everybody's being shown on the Jumbotron. The best mascot in all of pro sports, Bowie, is running around with a drum, yelling, "Let's go Kraken," waving a flag, heading into the third period to hoist the colors. Just an awesome experience.
So, yeah, Nick, Tim, so your panel here that you're with, all doubted your Seattle Kraken, buddy. Stork had Colorado in 5 games. His upset was that he had the Kraken winning one game. Then your boy, the mailman. I thought the defending champs were going to beat him in 6. I even went on your show. Do you want to plug that real quick? Courts and Fields.
Courts and Fields, baby. Well,
yeah.
Nick and Stork, we'll have you on sometime. We need a panel of hockey experts. But yeah, no, this is all about Jimmy. All about Jimmy right now.
No, but Tim brought me on his show, and I'm going to look like a buffoon. I took Colorado in 6. I did think Kraken were going to get a couple of games in. And then, Nick, you also, what did you have? You had Colorado, but I don't remember in how many games. I want to say you said a sweep, right?
Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah, the Kraken made us all look bad, right?
Yeah, so
I think I made a joke about when I predicted that series that you guys were all like in shock because I said Seattle was going to win that one game.
I thought so, man. I thought you were going to shock us, but
Tim, I don't. But it was hats off to them, man. I mean, come on. How could you not root for them the rest of the way?
They're off to a great start in round 2. But Tim, real quick, talking about that series, the Kraken got off to a great start with that 5-4 overtime win there against the Dallas Stars. I have the wrong series up. Oh crap.
Well,
that's all right.
But talk about that game last night, buddy. I don't have the Colorado one up. Joe Pavelski, 4 goals. The game goes into overtime.
Yeah, I was very scared that I was going to have to start calling Pavelski my daddy after watching that. I mean, he was crushing it. But yeah, I mean, the Kraken, I honestly thought they were going to lose yesterday because from Seattle, Colorado, then flew to Dallas. I thought their legs were going to be tired. Dallas had 2 extra days rest that Seattle didn't have. And, just Yanni Gord with a beautiful game winner there, trying to clear it, just bounces off the defender's legs and just turns around. Okay, I'll put this in. But, I mean, 3 goals in a 52-second span or something crazy like that. It was just insane to watch.
Yep.
All right, I got my correct scores up here. We're talking about the Avalanche. We're going to talk about that winning series real quick. Kraken won that first game on the road again. 3-1 against Colorado. Gruby's been outstanding in this series. Game 2, the Avalanche actually took that one, but if I recall, Seattle had a 2-0 lead in that one, and but they eventually lost to the defending champs in that one. If I recall, it was either Nate McKinnon or Mikko Rantanen started to heat up. And then the controversial Colorado won Game 3 in Seattle for the first game, like you're talking about. And that's when Cale Makar laid the hit on leading scorer Jared McCann. So that was unfortunate. But Seattle picked up their McCann player in Game 4 with a 3-2 overtime thriller. You weren't at that game though, like you said.
No.
But man, that
was
was bonkers. And then Seattle got the big road victory in Game 5, 3-2 to take it back home for try and clinch. But Colorado showed up, winning 4-1. And then that Sunday night game, the Kraken winning in overtime, 2-1 to take the series over the defending champs. I heard a lot of Colorado people making excuses, saying they're without a lot of players, a lot of banged up guys. The Chushkin saga. I'm still not sure exactly what's going on with that. But yeah, Tim, anything you want to talk about that Colorado series?
Well, I want to turn it over to you guys. As you guys have been all of you have had NHL teams longer than I have. I've kind of floated around. I have a Canucks sweater from when I was a child. My dad grew up in Chicago. I know. Well, no, Stork, don't worry. I never wear it. I don't even claim it anymore. My dad's from Chicago. Grew up going to Blackhawks games, so got some Blackhawks, gear. And then Jimmy, since I've known Jimmy, I used to say I was a lifelong Vegas Knights fan, but then Seattle got a team, so I was like, I finally have a home team. But just a great player. McKinnon is a great player. But I just think those guys, especially Makar, right? I don't think he ever recovered from the effects of being suspended. And McKinnon you could tell at times he was the best player on the ice, but he was just the Seattle Kraken were in their heads. It was just the strangest thing to me see a team that 18 months ago, those guys had never played together.
Yeah, Yanni Gord's leading scorer right now with that overtime goal against Dallas with the round 2 beginning already. This guy's, I think he deserves the C. Do you have any comments on that, Tim? Do you think they are going to award a C next year to who would you give it to? Would you give it to Yanni Gord or Jared McCann or somebody else?
Gord. It's hard not to give it to Gord. He kind of seems like a, that spark plug, that kind of that heart and soul there. That whole Colorado series, he was trying to fight everybody on Colorado at some point. Maybe that's not the best sign of a captain, but he didn't take any crap.
I think looking at it, you got Schwartz too. Schwartz is a leader.
Yeah.
You can tell he's on the ice. He's a leader.
Yes. Very
and then,
much so.
How many posts has Oliver Bjorkstrand hit this playoffs?
Jeez.
Matty
Beniers took after him yesterday. That would have probably ended the game.
Hey, you mentioned him, and one of the finalists for the Calder Trophy. Congratulations.
Yeah, Stork, what do you think? Those finalists. Skinner was the other one for the Edmonton Oilers, the goaltender. He's not looking too great tonight, by the way. And the other one, I was shocked. Owen Powers, a candidate. I could name 4 other guys that should have been up there, but I think Beniers is going to run away with it, Timmy. Be honest.
I have no doubt that Beniers is going to walk away with the trophy. He was by far the best of the rookie class this year. He's a heck of a hockey player, and he was one of the unsung heroes for the Kraken. This team, if they stay together, they're going to be something to watch. They put this team together well, and obviously they're well coached, and everybody's bought into a system, and that's why they made the playoffs. And that's why they beat Colorado. Like, fair and square, they beat Colorado. The sky is the limit for this team. And the more impressive thing is they did this the last 3 games. The last 3 games. They did this without McCann, who's another one of their leaders. And they didn't buckle. They didn't break. They played even harder, and I'm thoroughly impressed with what the Kraken have done in the playoffs, especially. I mean, I was surprised that they made the playoffs, but I thought, okay, yeah, they made the playoffs. They're going to get knocked out quickly, but what a season! Well, we're beyond that now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The team already showed yesterday that they can go and go for a run, and they keep playing like they did yesterday. Who knows what can happen? Dallas is beatable. They got some holes. Seattle might just give them a run for their money.
Real quick, Jordan Eberle had that overtime goal game, that historic game. What did you think, Andrew Cogliano? Did you think that was a dirty hit, Tim? He ended up playing with a broken neck, from what I heard. I don't know what you thought on that.
I mean, dirty hit, but you gotta question the Colorado doctors, because I think he got like 7 shifts in after that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy. That's some pro wrestling.
They might want to look to invest in some new doctors after that.
Yeah. So, Timmy, man, congratulations. Do you want to give us your prediction on the Dallas Stars series? I know we already started it. I'm going to give my prediction right now. I had the Dallas Stars in 6 again. Don't hate me, Seattle fan. I am rooting, though. I'm rooting for the Kraken. Go Kraken. But Tim.
Yes, go Kraken. I think, I mean, the homer in me, like, I didn't think they were going to beat Colorado. I mean, on the predictions, I told you all that I thought they would win, or, on the bracket thing. But, I mean, shoot, after how they played, it just looked, I mean, obviously every team's different. I was in fear the whole time, right? Like, I was like, okay, it's going to be Ratnan, McKinnon are going to be there. Pavelski, but other guys, I mean, it just seemed like a one-man wrecking crew. Now, goalie is a lot better. I mean, I think it's going to go 7. I don't know. They're not good at home.
Just wait until you start having nightmares about a guy named Rope Hintz. You'll learn real quick.
Yes. No,
yeah.
I know. I mean, it's coming. It's coming. That first game is, like I said, a mirage. It's not going to be what the series is, because I was like, oh yeah, scoring goals. We scored 3 goals on this goaltending. I don't know, it's just Pavelski, but yeah, no, it's going 7. I mean, I'm going to say Kraken at 7, but I don't know. At some point, you run out of steam.
Well, they'll have tremendous success if they can keep doing that against Jake Ottinger, because Jake Ottinger against Nick's Minnesota Wild, I had him pegged for Conn Smythe, the MVP. But Timmy, I mean, you're welcome to stay on. I mean, you can. I'm just glad you came on, buddy, to talk the Kraken. But you're welcome to stay with us. We're going to talk about a couple more series.
I will stay on. I don't know how much I'll add. Like I said.
Oh, that's cool. I wasn't sure. I was just awesome for you to stop in. We had to go straight to the Kraken. We'll talk real quick about the Carolina Islanders series. Carolina won that one in 6. I'm actually still shocked it got past 5 games, because that's what I had. Storky, you had Carolina in 5, and I believe Nick, he switched it from a sweep to Carolina in 5. Gentlemen, any comments on this? Carolina looked really good in their opening round 2 game tonight against the Devils. They pounded the Devils 5-1, but I also think it had a lot to do with the Devils having an emotional. They only had 1 day off after that emotional Game 7 on Monday night. Stork, thoughts on the Carolina Hurricanes beating the New York Islanders?
Well, I think you remember me talking about Carolina last week. They're missing Svechnikov, which is one of their main keys, but this team has depth, and Brenda Moore has them again. Another team that is well coached, and they've all bought into the system. They're consistent every game. Carolina is a scary team. They got a lot of depth. They've got defense. The goaltending, is a little iffy. But when you got an offensive attack like they have, and if they get up a goal or two, they're tough to beat. I mean, you're most likely not going to catch them because they play a defensive style, and they just kind of sit back and wait for you to make mistakes, which is what you start doing when you're down a goal or two. You start opening up, and they feed on that. They prey on that kind of system, which is why Carolina is a tough team to beat, because they almost look like they're lulling you to sleep, and then all of a sudden, they're up 3 goals. They're a good team. They just overmatched the Islanders, and as far as New Jersey is concerned, I think New Jersey will give them a better battle, but I think we'll see a different New Jersey team in Game 2. I know that for sure. But Carolina is obviously going to be favored in this series, but I think it's going to go 6 or 7 games, but I think Carolina is going to take it in 6 or 7. If I have to nail it to 1, I'll say Carolina in 6.
All right. I went with the Devils before I had my comments here. I went with the Devils, but I knew they were going to probably throw a clunker tonight. I said Devils in 6, so I have a lot to hope for here, gents, because that home crowd in Carolina, they showed themselves tonight. They're well coached. It's amazing to me that they're doing this with all those injuries, like you said, Stork. Sebastian Aho, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points, is leading the way for them. Seth Jarvis tonight looked tremendous. This guy's stepping it up. I think he's only going to get better. And I think you're going to hear more from Marty Natchez. He's been a -5 player throughout these playoffs, but if he gets that side of the house straightened out, I think he'll be all right. Nick, what were your thoughts on the Islanders series? And give me your winner for the Carolina Devils.
Oh yeah, I think the Islanders were lucky to win a couple games. I mean, Carolina is just so dang good. I mean, they're well coached, like Storky said. They got a great attack. Their defense is solid. Their goaltending is better. Yeah, all around. I mean, but we say that about that, obviously not on this because it's the first year we've done it together. But Carolina's always up there. They're always going to be a tough team, and that goes a lot to the ownership and the way that they've bought into hockey being a sport in one of the warmer states, going out and getting some of these players. So, yeah, Jarvis is going to be pivotal. By the way, just as a just heads up, Leon Draisaitl just scored a second goal.
Yes.
Tied game.
By the way, guys, breaking news. I don't know if you guys have seen me in my tweets. I have a bet with our fantasy hockey buddy Julio Aurelius. He has Vegas Golden Knights in this series, and the mailman has Leon Draisaitl, Connor McJesus winning. The loser has to. We put a Pink Whitney hockey sweater up for grabs that we're gonna get for the winner. So I'm liking this. Leon Draisaitl and that paddle of his just puts it home for the Hattie, huh? Amazing here as we update. Round 2s have just begun, but Tim, sorry. Did you have any thoughts on that Carolina Islanders series?
Well, I got to give.
You probably weren't even watching that.
Oh, you got wait. Nick's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he cuts me off all the time. It's fine. I'm whatever.
I thought you'd given your pick. Sorry, I was
excited
about Leon.
Devils in 7. Okay, now you can move on.
Devils in 7. Okay, I like it.
You can't really argue. New Jersey's good.
Anything else, Nick? Anything else?
Oh no, you're the host. I'm just here for you, bud.
Timmy, any thoughts on that Islanders series? Borelli's what's hopping, right?
Kind of like you all said, right? I mean, the Islanders. Jimmy, you and I were texting back and forth about how Bo, the big acquisition from Stork's favorite team, the Canucks there, how he didn't, how Bo didn't do. I just offended him. I apologize.
Oh, he's missing a hell of a game. Storky's like, I want to go watch this game, guys. Vegas just scored.
I heard the horn.
Barbershop.
I heard the horns. I had to get up and look.
Unbelievable.
But I agree with. I'm going to go with Carolina. It's kind of maybe it's because the ties that Seattle has to the Carolina franchise and how they built. But like Stork said, all that depth. I'm going to go with them in about 6.
Okay, 6. Real quick, you said you obviously are taking the Kraken in 7, right, Tim? Or
Yes,
you
sir.
said Kraken?
Yes, sir.
You didn't even get my vote.
I know. Storky, what was your series pick for the Kraken and Stars?
Okay, well, Tim's gonna like this.
Yeah.
After watching Game 1 and Round 2 there with Seattle, I'm gonna take them to upset Dallas in 7 games.
Let's
Whoa.
go.
Look at this. Look at this tag team friendship.
He's an old man. Sooner or later, he's going to run out of gas. He's 38, 39 years old. Great hockey player. But I think he's going to run out of gas. So a guy like Heinz better step it up or Seattle's going to surprise them next.
Unbelievable. Vegas just scored again. So, Nick, what was your series for?
Wow,
we're all over the map here. I'm sorry.
He was there.
We got a game going on the TV. Chandler Stevenson just scored.
Yeah, you're
Nick, what was your thoughts?
I got Dallas in 6.
Oh wow!
And I think
love
that
from Nick.
I think that
the same guy that defended McCarr's hit. I heard you a couple weeks ago.
Okay, first of all, I defended it as not a dirty hit. I said it was a late hit, and I think he thought that the puck was, because the way that he was skating towards the corner, I think he thought that the goalie put the puck to the corner, and he was just finishing a check. But obviously it was late. I just don't think it's dirty. I don't see Cale Makar is not a dirty player.
No. But he's hated.
So,
he is. He's public enemy.
Right now.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about Stork's Leafs. They advanced past the first round for the first time in 19 years. They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6. There was a lot of part of the series where I thought Tampa Bay was the better team. Tampa took the first game 7-3. Game 2 went Toronto's way 7-2. Game 3 went the Leafs' way in overtime 4-3. The Leafs then won in 5-4 fashion in overtime down there in Tampa. Then the series comes back to Toronto where the Tampa Bay Lightning double them up 4-2. And then Storky, John Tavares, 2-1 overtime win, sends them into the second round.
Style.
What was that?
Matrix style.
Yes.
Gun key.
Props to the defending, or not defending, Tampa Bay Lightning. What a run. They've been to, a bunch of Stanley Cups in the recent years. This team, obviously, is probably all the wear and tear is caught up to them. I said that it was going to be Leafs in 7. That happens. Nick had Tampa in 7, right?
I did.
Yes, and then Storky, he obviously took his Leafs in 6, and that is what happened. Stork, unbelievable. Tim, do you remember who you had on the pints and courts? Fields in court.
Well, yes, pints.
This guy's got beer on his mind, doesn't he?
I know.
I believe that I said we actually were talking about Stork and his team, and I believe I made the pick there. I was going to support Stork.
Yeah, I remember.
Right on, Tim.
Yes.
So, any thoughts on this series by Nick? We've heard from Stork; he's elated. Your thoughts on these Leafs?
Well, I thought that Tampa Bay's, veteran status and, some of the been there, done that type of mentality was going to come through and they were going to win in 7. I knew the Leafs were going to be phenomenal, but I said it in the very beginning is that Austin Matthews had to step up and he had to show up because this year, during the regular season, he just wasn't there. But, I should have never voted against the captain of Giroux was the captain of my fantasy league, but Johnny T was there too. And good player. So hats off to him. It was a great series.
Yeah, Austin Matthews, 5 goals, 4 assists, and 9 points in these playoffs. Keep in mind they've already started round 2, so I can't remember how many he had in the first round. Mitch Marner's leading the way with 11 points. Morgan Riley on the back end. This guy's been awesome on the power play. 8 points, right? Yep. John Tavares. They're getting just balanced scoring. Nylander. Ryan O'Reilly's been a perfect addition. What do you think of this Matthew Nyes kid? We were talking about him, I think, last week. Nick.
Yep.
Stork, what are your impressions of Matthew Nyes? Have you enjoyed this guy on your in your lineup? The young kid from Nick's Minnesota Gophers.
I felt so good for him when he scored that goal yesterday. Although albeit in a losing cause, but it was a really good goal. And this kid has got poise. He's 20 years old. We have to keep in mind. The kid's only 20. He's only played college hockey, and he's playing out there against men, and he's playing like he belongs. He's going to be quite an addition for the Leafs for a long time. I hope he stays in Toronto long term, that's for sure, because he is everything that he's been advertised as. And to see him score a goal yesterday, he must have been thrilled. He's got an overtime or he's got a playoff goal, and he still hasn't scored a regular season goal. That's impressive.
Yeah.
But he's a big kid. He knows how to use his body. He plays like he's been there and done that. And I think a lot of that is to do with college hockey, because as you know, some of these college players that are coming out of college and not the OHL or the WHL, these guys play a different kind of game in college hockey. And Matthew Nyes is right out of that mold, and he's just been a really good addition for the Leafs.
So to put a bow on the Leafs Tampa Bay series, congratulations again for Tampa on a great run. But Stork, one last question for your Leafs before we move on to the prediction of the Leafs Florida. Are you confident in Sammy? What are you thinking of the guy in the crease back there? The former Washington Capital. Looks like he's still got some bad habits that he had on the Caps, but he was a bit better than Vasi, obviously, because they won the series. And what are your thoughts on Sammy? Are you confident with that guy back there in the crease?
I still am confident in him. I'll tell you why. All season he's come up with some big games for us. And all you can ask for your goaltender is to steal a game or two in the playoffs. And he's already done that. He stole a couple of games. And when the games were close, like going into overtime or in overtime, he's come up with some big saves. They lost 4-2 yesterday, but it's a team game. And I'm not too worried about Sammy. I think he's going to bounce back, which is the other thing that he's done throughout the whole year. He's had bounce back games. He's never really laid 2 bad eggs in a row. And look for Sammy to get one of those steals in game 2 tomorrow. I think he's going to do very well.
So, Tim, real quick, we didn't have you on when we were talking about Boston. We won't talk about too much real quick, but what do you think of the Boston Bruins going down? And who is your series winner between Florida and Toronto?
Yeah. Well, I had Boston going to the finals and losing, but anytime Boston loses in anything, fantastic. Yes. I knew that Boston was gonna same curse that my did when they set the record for most wins in a baseball season, and then failed to win a championship. So I knew that would happen. Boston in 5 over Florida, just like we all predicted. Now with Toronto and Florida obviously playing really well right now. But I like this story. Nobody in Florida cares if they win. I mean, I know they're a fan. Need in this streak, Stork, you were pooping your pants the last time. Need this to keep going. I'm going Toronto in 7. Again, another 7 game.
All right.
But
what I want to hear, Tim.
Holy God, Leon Draisaitl, 4 goals.
Guys, we were
4
laughing
goals.
at. We weren't laughing at you, Tim. We were listening to you. I was laughing at Stork and the fact that Leon Draisaitl just got his 4th goal.
And game, so. None of them are easy. None of them were easy goals. Holy God, this guy is insane.
So, real quick for me, Toronto, I do have them beating Florida, but holy crap, Florida is starting to make me, I don't know. I'm a believer in them, but I'm gonna keep my pick that I had before the series start. I had Toronto, I believe, in 7. Toronto in 7 for me. Nick,
can I ask you
go ahead,
a quick
Tim.
question?
Yes.
For everyone. Obviously, McDavid is McJesus. Is there a world where Leon is better than Connor, or will Connor always be better than Leon?
No.
Man, I will say this. It'll take they need to win a championship really bad to compare them to the most. I mean, I still have McJesus way up there, Timmy.
Yeah.
But Draisaitl's not too far off as far as as far as a duo. If they can get some titles under their belt, they could be up there with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, man.
Duo. It's a trio, buddy. Everybody forgets about Nugent Hopkins.
Well, okay, but he's been a little bit of quiet, not
100.
I don't know.
100 points.
Oh, in the playoffs. We're talking about the playoffs right now, right?
Okay.
I want to see some more from the Nuge. Let's get the Nuge with a goal here in this game that is going on.
Where's Hopkins been for the last 5 years? That's my question.
He had a great year this year, but
he wasn't playing with Draisaitl.
Great year this year. He still played with Draisaitl and McDavid years past, and he was a 3rd-line player. I don't know. Hopkins isn't the one that excites me. Yeah, he had a great year this year, but whatever Draisaitl and McDavid do, the Oilers will do. And if they don't win a championship in the next 3 or 4 years, it's not going to be good because this team doesn't have the depth of like the Oilers of the 80s. I mean, they were full of players. Draisaitl and McDavid are the ones that are going to have to put this team on the map.
And they don't have the money either.
Now, Kane isn't going to do it. He's just riding the coattails of these 2 guys. And,
real quick, guys, let me get back on the picks for the Toronto Leafs and Florida. Nick, you didn't give me your pick. Toronto and Florida. They're underway. Who did you have before the series started?
Well, let's go. Surprise, surprise. You didn't ask me for what my picks were either, Jimmy. You just kind of skipped right through it. But I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I got Toronto in 5. I think Florida has won the only game they're going to.
Wow.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. No respect for Matt Tkachuk.
No, I have absolute respect for Matt Tkachuk, but I think Toronto's got, something that Florida doesn't have right now, and that's that want, that drive, and that need to win almost. And I think Florida was lucky to pull off the win yesterday.
Well, I will say this: it could hurt Florida. The series continues tomorrow, obviously, but when it shifts back to Florida, it doesn't continue until Sunday, guys.
Yeah.
So if Toronto can tie it up, it'd be interesting to see what the rest is all about. But Stork, you're the only one I didn't get a pick. Obviously you're taking the Leafs, but how many games?
I'm pretty much of a realist, but I will say
Florida sweep.
Like Nick said, this team is driven. They're scared to lose. They don't want to lose again. They've had enough of that. And I think they're going to come through. All the pressure's off them now that they got out of the first round. Now they're playing with house money. And that's going to make them lose. Yeah, they didn't show up for game 1 for the most part. I mean, they lost 4-2, but they weren't the better team yesterday. You're going to see a different Leaf team tomorrow night. You're going to see a team with confidence and an attack. They're going to go right after Florida. I think the Leafs overall are going to take this in 6 games.
All right. All right, now let's get back to the Edmonton Oilers. We only got 2 more series real quick, guys. Not much to talk about in Vegas. They bombarded the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets are in just mass. They have problems. They took that game 1, 5-1, and then the Vegas Knights just took it. They were the
Just
first
beat
team to
'em.
advance here in the second round. And I'm an idiot. I took Winnipeg in 7. That was my upset I was on Tim's podcast saying that would be an upset. I'm gonna have to go back on his show and tell everybody I'm a buffoon. I was doing with Winnipeg. But Stork had Vegas in 6, and Nick, you were right, man. Vegas in 5. Good job, buddy. You finally got one.
Oh, do you want some notes on being a buffoon there, bud? I can give you some.
Yeah. Timmy, I didn't remember your pick. You had Vegas, right? Or did you go with me with Winnipeg?
I went with Winnipeg. I thought.
Oh God, I corrupted you on your show. I forgot.
You did. You.
So and then Edmonton, they had a tough series with LA guys. LA took them to 6. A lot of controversial plays in overtime. Edmonton ended up losing a game where there was a high stick. Me and Nick talked about that. But they did what they had to do. I ended up missing that elimination game because I was at a T-Birds game. Was there anything interesting about that game? They do shut down the Kings. I did have Edmonton in 7 games, but I thought they were going to get they won in 6 games. But you guys had no respect for the Kings as far as Stork and Nick. Both of you guys had sweeps, if I recall. Your thoughts on the LA Kings?
Well, I knew Edmonton would beat them, but I mean, you could see that LA played hard the first few games, but I think Edmonton was just too much for the LA Kings.
And I'll say,
Nick,
part of the reason that I made my choice was because I didn't like the way that they treated Johnny Quick. Well, maybe they were right. I mean, the way they treated him was wrong, but making a change obviously was not the wrong decision. But again, hats off to him, the good team. I didn't give him enough respect, even though one of my favorite players, former Minnesota Wilds over there, centered it up with Kevin Fiala. Great series.
Before I get to Tim real quick, the guy that is an X factor on the Oilers right now, if they can get back in this, or he's on the power play a lot. What do you think of Bouchard, Storky? He's took over that power play point ever since Tyson Berry got traded for that Ekholm defensive mainstay. I think that was a better move. He's got 8 playoff points so far. Bouchard is on fire right now.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, if you look at Berry, I mean, he was benefiting from playing on the power play with McDavid and Draisaitl. Berry is just, he might not be as good as Bouchard. Bouchard is a little bit younger and a little bit more, determined with playing in Edmonton. Good player, but I see problems in the Edmonton defense. And they really got to deal with it. I don't know if Bouchard's the answer. I guess in the next couple of years we'll find out. But I'm not too high on Bouchard. Not to say that he's
really?
But I'm just not too high on Bouchard.
And I kind of agree with Stork. You put anybody on a power play where you got Draisaitl and McDavid at the points.
Get 5 points.
Yeah, it's real easy to get some points by passing the puck on time.
All right, I'm gonna try out.
Give me the puck. Okay, here.
Timmy,
I got an assist.
Timmy,
give me an apple.
Tim, any thoughts on the Kings Oilers series? Did you watch any of that? I know you're obsessed with the Kraken. I don't know how much hockey you watch besides them.
Well, hold on. Let me pass it to Nick real quick. He had one more thing to add.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah.
Tim. At least somebody on the show. I've been on every hockey podcast.
That's my gimmick, man.
And the host has decided that my opinion is not worth it.
Oh yeah,
But,
Nick, I need a series.
Oh yeah, you do. It's crazy. I'll say this: when I hear the Bouchard, and to kind of go back on him for a second, I only think of one Bouchard, and that's Pierre-Marc Bouchard. So any other Bouchard is just not good enough for me. But I have, and let me look. I just want to double check so I'm not a liar because I already sent these picks in. That I think I have the Oilers in 6. I have the Oilers at 5.
Oh, they're gonna need to win this game, I think, tonight. We'll see.
Hey,
It's
he's just
possible.
7.5 minutes, and Dreisaitl's already scored 4. So why not 5?
I honestly, the goaltending in this series
is going to be suspect.
The Brossoit guy, I still don't know how to pronounce his name, but I mean, Vegas all year has been gone with. Obviously, Thompson got hurt, and John Quick was brought in. And I feel like I hadn't even seen this Brossoit guy. He played for Winnipeg for a little bit. Yeah, we got Nick's pick. So, can I transition to Tim?
No, not yet, because I'm not. Okay. I'm not done talking. I will say, but no, I agree with you. The goaltending is very suspect on both sides. Yeah. This is all offense all the time, both teams. So,
but
enjoy
Tim,
the points.
Your thought, if you caught any of that King series, I think that hurt them not having Fiala for the beginning. They ended up getting him, and I don't think he really ended up doing too much. If I recall, I have his stats right here. What was it? 1 goal, 5 assists. The guy that was rolling for them was Adrian Kempe. That guy's a stud. And Anze Kopitar, I can't believe he got snubbed for Selke nomination. He was awesome. And Victor Arvidsson, a tremendous series along with Phil Dinal. He shuts down McDavid a lot, but they just didn't have enough. Timmy, if you saw any of these games, your thoughts on the Kings Oilers?
Yeah, I mean, I have the Oilers as champions in the bracket. Obviously, they're not getting past Seattle next round, so I don't know what I was doing. But no, I'm just kidding. No, I think the Oilers. Yeah, no, I mean, I think Jimmy, you and I went to a Kraken Oilers game on December 30th, and I mean, just watching McDavid and Draisaitl didn't even play in that game.
Yep, he was hurt.
And David, man amongst boys out there, and I mean, they pulled Grubauer after what, 5 minutes? They were up 3-0, 4-0 already. But anyway, so that's kind of scarred me. These guys are super good. I mean, they are super good, right, offensively. But yeah, I mean, most Seattle fans didn't want to face them in the first round because of that dynamic offense. What, Draisaitl scored 7 goals in that first round series?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy, you know. Like, I mean, that's a lot of goals. I mean, I guess when he scores 4 tonight, it's not that many, right? But yeah, no, I wasn't surprised what happened there. Since I had Winnipeg making the next round, I didn't really have a prediction on this series. But, I mean, yeah, it looks like it's going to be – I mean, I don't know how this series is going to go. I mean, like you all said, bad goaltending. I guess I'll stick with Edmonton and say they take it in 6.
All right. You're with me, buddy. I had Edmonton in 6. And I remember if I don't recall on your podcast, I persuaded you to take Edmonton.
You did.
Because I think you had Boston, I think. Yeah.
Yes, you did. And also, you were trying to get me. You were pushing this. LA was you had a ticket on LA, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah. By the way. Yeah, this ticket it's gone. But I lost $20, whatever. But Storky, I didn't get your thoughts on, or did we get your thoughts on the Edmonton King series?
No.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, well, here it is. This series, like we've already talked about, there's no goaltending. You guys, a couple of years anyway, you were surprised that Skinner was in the Calder race. I don't even know what his name's doing there. What has he done? He's done nothing. Nobody's
I will
gonna
say,
see pictures. But I'll
real
tell you
quick,
what,
Kentucky Derby this weekend. There is a horse named Skinner. I would stay away from him, but go ahead.
well, this is going to be this series is going to be like highlight. There's going to be a lot of points on the board. It's going to go 7 games, and the game you're watching right now, that isn't an anomaly. This is the scores you're going to see for the rest of this series. I don't think you're going to see in 2-1 games or 1-0 games. You're not going to see many in the series. But all in all, I hate to say it because I don't like Edmonton, but I'm going to give them Edmonton in 7 games. It's going to go the distance. But because there's so much scoring on both these teams, it's going to be like watching CFL football. It's going to be really ugly. It's the goaltending is not going to be there. Edmonton in 7.
Those are the fun games to watch. I don't even know what Tim. I don't know if you even seen it. What are the overs in these games? 9.5 or
Man,
somebody's hanging.
I haven't seen him.
Oh, crazy!
I've
But
gone to the sports book by my work, but I will
yeah,
head over there and see.
I need to get over there because I've been listening to a lot of the they call it the game notes, part of the Spit and Chicklets guys. Colby Armstrong there, Stork. He's been putting out winners, man. He's been calling Nick Cousins in the Florida series with you guys. He's been dropping great bets on what was it, Seth Jarvis to get a point here and there. It's just if you're looking to sprinkle a few bucks on a couple of their winners, I would highly recommend their show. But to recap here real quick, Stork's got Carolina in 6, the Kraken in 7, Toronto in 6, and Edmonton in 7 here in round 2. Jimmy, the mailman, is going to go Devils in 6, Stars in 6, Stork's Leafs in 7, and I've got the Oilers in 6. This is going to be an exciting series, by the way. Nick has the Devils in 7, the Dallas Stars in 6, Toronto Leafs in 5, and Edmonton in 5. And then my boy, the PipeLayer, Tim Kelly. So awesome for him to sneak on here and join us the rest of the way. Carolina in 6, Kraken in 7, Toronto in 7, Edmonton in 6. I'm liking it. For our round 2 roundtable, we'll go around the table one more time with concluding thoughts. This time I'll start with Nick, and he won't be cut off.
Actually,
I did.
I'll
All right, Timmy, you go.
No, I'm just kidding. No, they're good.
What about me?
See you, Nick. But,
Now, I will say,
Colonel, go ahead, buddy.
A little bit of heartbreak. Obviously, my team didn't show up, and we'll just be straightforward with it. They just didn't show up those last 3 games. After Game 5, it kind of took the wind out of their sails. Or Game 4, I mean. Great hockey still. I probably won't watch most of it, to be completely honest, because I'm still a little heartbroken, but that could change tomorrow or in a minute and a half with the ending of this game. So we'll see. But hey, it's been a great playoff. It's greatest game on the planet, one of the hardest series to win. So whoever goes on to the final absolutely earned it. So let's go.
Timmy, Seattle Kraken, they get back at it tomorrow, right?
Yep,
I haven't looked at the schedule yet.
Tomorrow, and then their first home game Sunday. I got to tell you guys why it took the NHL so long. Seattle. It is crazy how into it my friends who none of them. I mean, I took my friend. My friend was coming up from Portland to Seattle. We were going to go to a couple Mariner games. I said, hey, we're going to this hockey game. He'd been to one hockey game. His mom lives in St. Louis, went to a Blues game years ago. I mean, he's into it now. He's texted me about it. Like, Seattle is hockey crazed. It's awesome to see, you know. Like Stork mentioned with the Leafs earlier, it's like playing with house money. The way it is up here in Seattle, it's awesome. And we're very excited. The ride's going to end the ride will probably end at some point, but it's just awesome to see all the pro athletes up here, the legendary figures of other teams are all into it. The Mariners better be careful because the Kraken are gonna. I mean, both the Kraken and the Mariners have been to the playoffs only once in the past 20 years. So,
Wow.
yeah. But Kraken have only been in existence for 2 of those years.
All right, Timmy. Hopefully you can get back there. I know you spent some money, but if not, come to the Thunderbirds. That's what's struggling with me right now. Every time the Kraken play, it seems like the Thunderbirds are on the same night. Thunderbirds play again tomorrow night. They're down 2-1 in the Western. We're talking about that. What happened, Nick?
Oilers went to pull the goalie, and someone jumped off over the boards too early.
Oh my!
Too many men.
Holy crap!
1 minute left.
And with that,
Vegas
we'll go to Stork for his. Yeah, it probably will take game 1 now, buddy. But we'll see. Storky, final thoughts on this Roundtable round 2 edition.
I still got some nails, but they're going to be slowly disappearing for the next 24 hours because I got to do some nail biting for the Leafs for tomorrow night. I can't wait for it to start. I want to go into Florida on Sunday, tied 1-1, and I'll feel really good about the Leafs' chances. But talking about Seattle again, when I heard they got a team, because I've been kind of advocating for it for years now, because I think Seattle is a hockey town, and their location, they've got they could build up a rivalry with Vancouver, and of course with the California states. It's Seattle having a hockey team. I'm not surprised that the fans have taken to this team. So yeah, I'm really happy. I was kind of hoping they would be called the Seattle Metropolitans again, though. But
oh, me too.
I would have voted for that, or even the Seattle Millionaires. I used to love that team back in the early 1900s. There, that they were the Millionaires for a while. But that's just me and my hockey historian inside on me. Yeah, I went, but yeah, go Seattle, man, go Seattle.
And Vegas, breaking news, just to jump in, Vegas sauced it away with a power play empty net goal to make it 6-4.
All right, so if Julio watches this, kudos, buddy, on game 1. You're going to take it. Vegas, an exciting game, 6-4. Real quick, round 2, Florida doubled up Toronto yesterday, 4-2, right? We had Dallas lose in overtime to Tim's Kraken in exciting fashion. Yanni Gord 5-4. Seattle up 1-0 in that series. Tonight, Devils laid a dud in Carolina. Obviously, their legs will get back into it, but they're down 1-0 to the Carolina Hurricanes. And right now, the Edmonton Oilers are in an 0-1 hole, losing to the Vegas Knights 6-4. The mailman, Jimmy Milstead here. So thankful the Colonel Nick Reedy has joined me from Minnesota. Tim Kelly from DuPont, the PipeLayer, and Kevin Stork from Maple Ridge, BC. Go Leafs, go, buddy. This has been episode 20 of the Small Package. Look for it on YouTube, and I'll get it up on iTunes and Spotify real soon. I got to finish episode 19, Tim, as far as T-Birds talk. For me, my Thunderbirds up 2-1 versus the Kamloops Blazers. I'll get that out as soon as I can. And we thank you for watching tonight. The Stanley Cup Playoffs are in round 2, and it is awesome to watch. Good luck to all everybody's teams. I know me and Nick's teams are out. Talk to you guys after this round completes. Badger Bob always said it's a great day for hockey. It's been a great day for hockey. Jimmy the Mailman Milstead signing off, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Good night.